So good day to everyone, and we'll be looking at how we're going to use artificial intelligence and the various tools available out there in our day-to-day practice. So when I'm talking about artificial intelligence, it's basically an entity that if a human encounters would label intelligent based on the response that it is giving. So it gives a response similar to what you would expect another human being would give at that point of time. So the credits for this entire presentation goes to something I call augmented intelligence, which would be, my intelligence supplemented by the use of artificial intelligence. So let's go straight ahead to how these tools work. So they're based on large language models, which form the bedrock of artificial intelligence. So what would you fill if you were given these blanks? So once upon a time, dash, this baby is always dash. So intuitively, it would be, say, time and crying. But does the AI guess the same answers? How does that work? So now imagine there's a big game of fill in the blanks with, you have thousands of texts and references loaded into you, and you're asked to choose the best blank. This is what the AI basically does. It plays a big game of fill in the blanks. Now, once it fills a blank, it takes a feedback, corrects scores, and subsequently gets better. So it keeps learning. One thing that we should understand that I would iterate again and again is that the answer might not necessarily be right. It is just the best one that fits at that particular case. It's the one that fits the blank. So that is decided based on the available information that has been loaded into the AI. So how do these large language models actually train? Now one should understand that there are phases of this. Now it's much like the course in becoming a doctor. So there's a phase of pre-training which is akin to MBBS, wherein these large language models are trained with a wide set of data, like how we are trained in 19 different subjects. We given lots of information, we acquire some sets of skills, but it's yet to be fine-tuned. The fine-tuning is something similar to residency, wherein the data set becomes narrower but deeper, wherein we learn more specifics about a particular branch. In this case, the AI tool is trained in depth about a particular field with experts giving their responses. And then there is some on-field testing, like how once we go into clinical practice, we eventually learn based on our prior experience. In this case, the AI tool learns from prompts. So with every prompt and the feedback given, as I had mentioned earlier, the AI tool corrects and subsequently improves. So this is the training phase of the AI tool. What exactly happens within the machine at this point of time? So when I give a particular set of prompts to the machine, based on its initial data set, it gives me certain responses. So the LLM for this example produces certain responses for the particular prompt that is being fed, and then certain predefined criteria we rank or give weights to these responses. So by weights, I mean something similar to marks for a particular answer. So the more the weight, the more the closer the response is to being correct. So by this concept, we can give a greater variability. So we can add multiple responses, multiple reinforcing models, wherein with subsequent uh, inputs, the large language models learn as to what output it is supposed to give. So this is very similar to how our own brains work with repeated responses, with reward mechanisms. It develops a stronger memory of certain stimuli, of certain concepts than others. So rightfully so, this entire concept or this entire model is built on the fulcrum of something called neural networks. So one should understand that the output that the AI gives or large language models like ChatGPT, they predominantly try to predict the most likely next word. Like I had mentioned earlier, they do not look up for the right answer in a particular given database. So we have to understand and beware that AIs can hallucinate. The LLMs can generate a response that might not be linked to your question at all based on certain database models that it is analyzing and finds a best match that might not really relate to what you are trying to ask. So that filtering that is up to you and at your discretion. So the key to unlocking the potential of AI has greatly to do with how we design our prompts. And rightfully, prompt engineering is a concept that involves discovering the right input that yields the most desirable and useful output from the AI tool. So one has to remember that the quality of the output greatly depends on the quality of the input. So let's see some examples here. So in AI language, the terms sorts of learning, wherein the AI eventually learns with examples. So in a zero shot, we don't give an example. We just describe the task, as in convert English to French, and we give the word that we want the AI to convert. And in one shot learning, you can see that there is a single example wherein the AI can refer to a particular database, relate, and probably give a better output. And in a few shot learning, we give more than one example and then subsequently give the prompt or the task that the AI needs to do. Now, a deeper example in this case, something called standard prompting versus chain of thought prompting. So here, both the examples involve the same mathematical problem, a very simple calculation. The question has been entered and subsequently the answer in standard prompting. But whereas in chain of thought prompting, the thought process behind getting the answer has also been entered. So if you can pause and read it for a moment, you'll understand yourselves. So subsequently, in the first example, the second question that was asked yields a wrong result. But in the chain of thought prompting, if you see, the result, the answer is right, as well as the tool has mentioned or given the calculation behind the derivation of the answer. So this is one way to improve our prompts by teaching the AI how to think. So now let's look at a more relevant example of how we are going to play with prompts. So let's say we define certain parameters for a prompt and we want the AI to role play or act as a doctor. It can be anyone else, a lawyer, an engineer, a student, a resident. So that would change the level of the text that it writes at, the type of text that you want it to write, a scientific article, a journal entry, and so on. Tone, whether professional, precise, or casual, any other tone. And the language, it can write in multiple languages. Reader comprehension is an important concept wherein we will need to cater to the audience that we want to address. It can be students, professionals, PhD graduates, or even say 8-year-old children. And the last part is the task or the context that you want to address. In this case, I wanted the AI tool to write a review on the use of artificial intelligence for clinician in daily practice and research. You can also add the number of words that you want as an output, or you want, I mean, here I've mentioned it as an abstract. So let's see the output that the AI generated. So this was from Bing. So you can pause and try the prompt for yourselves and see the response. So if you observe here, the AI tool, along with writing a good abstract with citations, has also mentioned the references. Now, I have not asked the tool to give me any references, but however, since I had mentioned that it was a scientific article, it is developed the concept by itself and given me references. So in that way, it continues to learn and it does impress. So for the rest of it, it is just like playing a game. You'll get better and you learn by doing. So as you go ahead and work with AI tools yourselves, you'll eventually get better and more comfortable at using them.
Everyone, I am Dr. Vaidnath, Senior Resident in Infectious Disease. I will be talking regarding the ChatGPT 3.5 and its uses. So, it is a free version that everyone can use. and I'll be more focusing towards the conversation building and the prompts that we have to give to get the specific answer. So uh, before proceeding further, so it is the limitation of ChatGPT 3.5 that the data has been fed till 2021 only. So obviously it will give answer whatever it has been fed till 2021. The more adverted version is ChatGPT 4, which is a paid version, and regarding this there will be a further discussion. So the first thing I want is like I want to ask the chat GPT until when has the data been fed to you. So it will give answer on its own. So my training data includes the information till January 2022. So I do not have access to real time data. So till January 2022 it has data. Okay, maybe not 21. So now I'll want to show you how to use the prompts. So first is ki any specific answer that I want regarding any medical topic. Like, so if you just write like that, it will just give you the viruses like Ebola viruses, Marburg viruses, Lassa viruses, and etc. But if you want a specific answer regarding the our like relevant to our medical practice, then we have to write. So now you can see like it has given the family's name and along with the viruses, not just simply the naming the viruses. And then it has said transmission of these viruses in human occurs through the contact and infected animals. So these are like a group of viruses which causes similar manifestations in terms of viral hemorrhagic fevers. So I want to know what are common between these viruses. So here you can see I'm not again typing what are the common between viral hemorrhagic causing viral hemorrhagic fever causing viruses. I am just conversing like a person. So you can say just these viruses I have mentioned. So how it is going to answer, like they have similarity in zoonotic transmission, arthropod vectors, hemorrhagic symptoms, human to human transmission, high fatality, and also it has given like understanding these commonalities. There are differences also. Again in my mind there comes a question like when these viruses has been diagnosed. So now you can see like for a specific virus it is giving the time when it has been first identified, just to have a little bit knowledge, like I want to dig deeper into the concepts, so I can ask similar question everything. So here we have seen like you can give a prompt like a layman sentence, and you can give a prompt like answer like a doctor, answer like a medical student, answer like a professor. So it will give a more specific answer, so you have to add this prompt. Second one, you can have a conversation like you having with a person, like you do not write every sentences every time, you just like uh, with reference to answer one and all these things you can ask the further question. So this is the conversation building as well as the importance of prompts that I have showed you. Others question, I'll show you the example. Like I am studying the TB and I want to know what are the landmark trials that has been till now in the treatment of tuberculosis. So I will just ask the question tuberculosis. You just prompt this. So it is giving two answer at the same time. You can see whichever answer do you want you can just use. And here it has given like you can see here first was BMRC trials in 1940s to 1980s, then international union trials, then HIV and TB trials, and then stream trial and remox TB trial in 2014. So you can see here there is limitation, like it is not giving beyond this. So obviously this is the limitation of data that has been fed to it. And you can also see the second answer from here, like this is the first answer, this is the second answer. Whichever answer you having a better better inference, you can take it. So here like chat gpt is not at all like it will be correct all the times and all these things. You will have to some idea regarding what answers you are expecting. So if now for further building the chat, I want to know detail about the Remox TB trial. So I do not have to write ki what is the Remox TB trial and all these things. I'll just write give me summary. Now see. Okay, so the trial mentioned in the fifth point is Remox trial. So you can just get an abstract right now here only. Just type and nothing to write the trial's name or all these things. Just you build a conversation and you will get the answer. So what was the regimen compared, what was the outcome, implication, significance and future directions. So you can like build an answer and you are, as you have see, like you are getting a very crisp answers regarding the very specific questions. So this was regarding the literature review and all these things that you can use these type of questions. The third point is to understand the biostatistics. So uh, I have also used to understand different terms and different things that we when we read in the articles. Like I once searched regarding the uh, restricted mean survival time. So I'll just ask, okay, so it will give answer like the restricted mean survival time is a statistical measure used in survival analysis, and it is giving like uh, formulas and interplay flexibility can, but still reading this answer I am not able to understand. So what I'll do, I'll just again ask the question like what is restricted mean survival time, answer me as a uh, answer me as you are explaining to a high school student with examples. Now see. Alright, so let's break down to the concept of restricted mean survival time. Like you now you can see, like imagine a group of people who are all healthy at the beginning. We are curious about how long it takes to some event like disease to happen to them. So you can just now see survival function, time passing, and restricted means survival time. Now uh, the RMST is likely way to measure the average time everyone stayed healthy up to the certain point. Let's say we are studying the average time until the 5 years time. So now it has also given an example like you have a group of a student starting high school and you want to know an average how long they will stay in school before they graduate. The survival function would show at each year how many students are still in the school, and 4 years to tell the average time the students spend in the school. So figure out the average time it takes to certain event to happen. So this is the crux of RMST. So again, if you are not still satisfied ki what is RMST, you can again ask ki give me the example in medical context. Like so now you can also get the restricted mean survival time and survival function, and how like it has also given ki, how it is relevant to the medical field. So like that way you can just build the conversation and you will have a very crisp answers regarding the specific topics, specifically regarding the literature research and regarding the biostatistics and the regarding like overview of a disease. If you want to know not the specific answers, for a specific answers and treatment guidelines you have to go to the specific treatment guidelines or help of up to date, but for a general overview and a more generalized answer you can rely on chat gpt.
Good morning, colleagues and my dear juniors. I'm Dr. Imtiaz Sharif, SRID, and today I'll be showing you how you can utilize ChatGPT to help you in your academic research. So here I have opened my window to ChatGPT. So I would like to tell that there are two versions of ChatGPT, ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4. So both of them are very good for your academic research, but ChatGPT 4, it will give you more precise results which you can use. So I currently prefer using ChatGPT 4 because of its more precise results, the more precise answer it generates. It might be a bit slower than ChatGPT 3.5, but you can be assured that the quality of your answers which you will get, it will be far better. So I have used ChatGPT 4 for my academic research. How did I utilize it? So first of all, I used it to find articles related to my research. So for example, I was working on asymptomatic dengue. So I wanted to find out few papers addressing asymptomatic dengue. So for literature review, you can use certain plugins. So here you can see, if you click here, you'll get this option for plugins, and I've been using this particular plugin, Scholar AI. So what it does basically, it screens through the database, for example, Google Scholar, PubMed, to search for articles which is pertinent to the topic which you are discussing. So for example, I want to find certain articles regarding asymptomatic dengue. So I will type it out. So here you can see that it has screened through the database, and it is now giving you the results. So I have utilized these articles in my study, in my literature review. So this has given you an abstract, which will provide you a bird's eye view of how they proceeded on with the study. So for example, now I want to see if the methodology which they used, uh, is it pertinent for me? Can I include this particular article in my study after looking at its methodology? So for example, I'll take the second article. So here you can see they have given a detailed answer regarding the methodology used in this particular article. If you want to if you have any queries, you can directly type it out here, and ChatGPT would give a relevant answer to your query. So another way in which you can utilize ChatGPT is in the analysis of the data that you have generated. So for that, I need to revert back to ChatGPT 4. Now I will open my data. So here you can see that I have an Excel file, and I will now conduct certain statistical analysis on the data which I have generated. So I'll just drop my file here. And for example, now I want to see in the data which I have collected regarding the distribution of certain blood parameters, let's say hemoglobin, in my patients. So I'll just type out a prompt. So here you can see that ChatGPT, they have given me the distribution, and they have generated graphs as well. So I want you to use this statistical analysis part of ChatGPT with a bit of caution, because in my experience, there has been certain instances with uh, the results which they have generated. It was not very accurate. For accurate results, what you can do is ask ChatGPT to generate a formula which you can run in other programs, especially Python. If you use ChatGPT to generate a command which you can execute in Python, then the results will be very much accurate. How can you do it? Again, you have to give a prompt to ChatGPT. So as you can see, they have generated a code. So all you need to do is just copy this code. Here, you click on that, the code is copied, and then you go and paste it in Python, and then you run the program there. The results generated in Python, it will be more accurate than the statistical analysis and the results generated by ChatGPT. So these were some of the few ways in which you can use ChatGPT in your academic research, especially with regards to finding of relevant literature, seeing whether that literature is pertinent to the research which you are conducting, and in the analysis of the data set which you have collected.
Hi everyone. So I'll be discussing the Bard and Bing chatbots. The primary distinction between Bard, Bing, and ChatGPT 3.5 lies in their updates. Bard and Bing are continually updated and can manage uploaded images. In contrast, ChatGPT provides information up to January 2022, and the free version lacks image handling capabilities. So without further delay, let's start. So this is the Bard, which is powered by Google Engine. And before starting, we should fix our settings. Here you can choose either dark theme or daylight theme. And we can also choose the extension that we want to enable. I have enabled Google Workspace and the YouTube extension from the extension. Now let's see first case use. Suppose you want to understand regression analysis. So you search a video on it on YouTube and you have come across this video. The time duration of this video is 45 minutes, but you don't have this much amount of time to see the video. So you can ask Bard to analyze this video. What you have to do is just copy the link of this video and paste it in the Bard here and ask analyze this video for me. So Bard will come up with an answer where it gave a very detailed answer. What are the specific details from the video that you may find being helpful. Now let's see second case use, analyzing table. So this is an NEJM article on long-term outcomes of resynchronization defibrillation for heart failure. So in this article, there is a table which is showing ECG characteristics of patients at baseline in ICD versus CRTD group. So what we can do is we can ask Bard to analyze this table for us. Just copy this image and paste it here. And ask analyze this table for me. So here it gave an answer in the form of the following format. Key findings from the table are, and overall the table suggests there are some small differences in the ECG characteristics of the patient with heart failure at baseline, depending on whether they have an ICD or a CRTD. So we have to take this with a pinch of salt because this is a very difficult task for even a chatbot to analyze. And so before relying on this, we should analyze ourselves also. Now let's come to third case use, converting image into a tabular format. So this is the image which is showing all the causes of the portal hypertension. So I want this image into a tabular format. So I have written convert this image into a tabular format. So Bard came up with a reply and he has changed the image into a tabular format. So I can export this table directly into Sheets, from where I can export that table into PowerPoint presentation. Now let's see fourth case use, analyzing the Google Workspace. For that, first we have to activate the Google Workspace by typing @. Here it will show all the extensions that we have enabled in the starting, Gmail, Google Docs, Drive, or YouTube. I will take the example of Gmail and ask it to search for all the emails which are CPC related from AIMS Medicine within the past year, preferably those containing PowerPoint presentations. So it came up with an answer with detailing all the CPC related emails that have PPTs. And here it also gave a direct link to open these emails. So till now we have seen the case uses of Bard. Now let's move to Copilot. Copilot is almost similar to Bard except the image generation part. Copilot uses OpenAI technology DALL-E 3 to generate images. In Copilot, we have three types of conversational style: more creative, balanced, or precise, based on the response you want. Precise will give a short and crisp answer, while creative will give a long and more imaginative answer. Now let's see the case use of the Copilot. I gave a prompt. I want you to be a medical student. You have a presentation on molecular biology, so you need a picture of the DNA structure. Please create a detailed but simple depiction of the DNA structure with all the labels that I require. So Copilot gave up all the image options using DALL-E 3 technology, and these images are all copyright free, so we can use them freely. And same answer was created in more precise style. So these are the main uses of Bing or Bard that we can incorporate into our daily lives. Obviously, there can be other innovative uses as well, but due to time constraint, I won't be able to discuss them all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Parnika. I'm a second year MBBS student at AIMS, and today I want to talk a bit about the use of artificial intelligence in medical research and how everyone from undergraduates to faculty can use the couple of websites and tools that I'm sharing right now. This is Janai.ai. It specializes in content creation for medical research. You can log in using Google or just by creating an account, which is free. And then, of course, some features within the website are paid. Let's start here with the prompt. What am I writing about today? The use of artificial intelligence in medical research, for example. Remember, the more detailed your prompt is, the better the content you'll get generated out of it. Let's click Outline Builder, which basically gives you an established outline for your paper, as in it will give you a list of subtopics. Of course, this is completely editable. So we have the option, the freedom, flexibility to obviously edit the paper as we choose. This is taking a bit of, okay, there we go. So for example, these are some of the headings it's come up with, some of the subheadings, I would say, under the AI in medical research topic. Now, once you click under any of these headings, what Janai.ai does, it actually automatically generates some content for this. So for example, this is the first line that is generated over here. I can choose whether to accept this or not. I do accept it. Let's go over here. We will get further recommendations. Now that's great. Now the thing is that if I want to add a citation, for example, I click add citation, and within this subtopic, Janai.ai is actually doing an entire literature search for me. So here are the artificial intelligence in healthcare, the most relevant papers I need, and say I want to add any of these. So I just click on add citation, and there we go. Citation has been added. Of course, if we want add citation, we can also add a custom citation. So in a custom citation, you put in the DOI, for example, and then given the basic information and the kind of citation you want, and then directly the citation will get added. Of course, here anything is editable. If you feel like this topic is not required or this one isn't required, just feel free to go ahead and add minus everything. Of course, the human touch here is still very much necessary, because that gives the paper its credibility, of course, and then someone has to take responsibility for what has been written in the paper. And of course, without a human editing it, you might actually get a lot of generic information which won't make a good research paper after all. So let's go here. Another prompt I created. So for example, say I'm writing a systematic review meta-analysis on the crescentic glomerulonephritis in children. Here I'm looking at, for example, the etiology, clinical profiles, and outcomes of pediatric crescentic glomerulonephritis. So here it's got a lot of the headings that I need. But as you notice, I would have wanted perhaps something about in an introduction. I would have wanted a discussion. I would have wanted a conclusion. And then some interesting things which I hadn't written about before is an overview of the current knowledge and also the future direction, which is something that new that the AI has added, which I honestly didn't think of before, tried into my paper. So again, these are the benefits of using this. Let's move on to the second website today. That's Claude.ai. So Claude.ai, again, make a free account and go in. Here, let's say this has actually additional functionalities compared to Gemini.ai and can be used for non-medical purposes as well. For example, this is a paper I made for the soon to come research day. This is an analysis of neuroblastoma bone marrow response. There is a criteria called the INRC BMWG criteria, and my paper critically analyzes this. I've uploaded now my poster for this, and I'm going to tell Claude, please summarize this poster for me. Okay, so this does happen a bit with Claude, but because there are capacity constraints for free accounts. But I found that doing it a couple of times usually yields in success. There we go. So as you can see, this AI is actually very intelligently going through the poster which I've created and giving me a summary. So this can work for anything. I mean, this is just a poster. Poster essentially is made to be easy to read. But say it's a 20-page research article. All you have to do is upload a PDF, say, of the article, and Claude will actually give you an excellent summary of this. So the thing is that this can be used, of course, for this can be used for medical research, but it can also be used for summarizing almost anything. So say legal documents, or if someone considers themselves an entrepreneur, then perhaps there'll be things about patents, long patent documents, long maybe journals through which you're trying to sift out one or two articles. And here you have software which can very intelligently kind of glean out the information that you need without you having to go through the whole thing. How many children progress to ESK? Just ask it questions. It doesn't even have to be something as generic as summarize. Perhaps we found that, okay, the meta-analysis finds that almost 1 in 3 children with crescentic GN progress to end-stage kidney disease, which indeed is the main conclusion of this poster. So as you can see, it's not just a summary, but it's something you can ask detailed questions to. Now, the thing is that a lot of people think about the ethical considerations of using artificial intelligence in medical research, but there's a lot of journals, for example, the BMJ, which are coming out with newer guidelines, which actually allow to a certain extent the use of artificial intelligence in research, given that it is properly credited. And like I mentioned, it's actually quite tough to create meaningful medical research without the human intervention. And of course, having humans as only humans as the authors make sure that someone is responsible for the research that is going out there. And we have literature in our on the internet, which is actually useful. So anyways, thank you for listening to our compiled edition of discussion of artificial intelligence and how we can use it in everyday medicine. And hopefully this was helpful to you, and you'll be able to use some of these tools in the coming weeks. Thank you.